stale, all laying out of the night. Well, Rebecca and me was living at the Scratch Britches cabin at this time still. We had 2 children by that time. We had Eleanor, the oldest, and Lucinda. And so I would go out hunting, and it was not, it was early evening, still a lot of light. I thought I might catch some fresh game for maybe to eat that night. Now, I took my gun rifle, I took my powder horn, and I took my pouch. Didn't have a dog at the time, and I didn't take a lantern because it was early. I didn't think I'd be gone that long. So I walked on into the woods, and I walked like my daddy had learned me long ago to walk real quiet, just like the Cherokee, and not to break no sticks or anything. Don't scare the game off. And I was wandering further and further, and couldn't see any game anywhere. I thought that was strange, but I kept on walking. And then I got to some places I've never been before. And finally, though, I did see a flash of white. And it was the white of the undertail of a deer. Saw it flashing through the woods, so got my game. So I followed it real quiet. Finally, that deer was at a place, and then suddenly it was gone, and suddenly it was back, and then finally it was gone. I didn't know where it was off. Where it had gone to. Well, I looked around me, and it was getting dark, was coming on awful fast, and I realized the sky is so dark, there's no stars, I don't have nothing to guide me home, and I'm lost, I guess, and I guess I better just lay out of the night here. So I found me a nice big balsam tree. It had these big branches on it. And I went there and I made my little camp there. There's still a little bit of light, and I gathered me some plants that I could eat, some mushrooms, and got the water from the stream nearby, and gathered up some leaves so I'd have a place to sleep, and some sticks and leaves for my fire. I got my fire going, and I laid my rifle up against the tree there. And then on the limb of that tree, I hung the powder horn, and I hung the pouch. And then after everything was ready, I sat down by the fire and had myself a little time of remembering. And me and my daddy used to go hunting. And I was a brave boy in the daytime, but at night, I could get awful scared, and he'd pick at me, and he'd go, "Meow," making wild animal sounds like a panther or a bobcat or something. And my hair would stand on my head. It was, woo. And then pretty soon I'd hear some sounds coming back at me. And I would throw more wood on that fire, and I'd stir it up. There'd be lots of fire and lots of light there, because that would keep the animals away. So I was just remembering down of hunting with my father. Well, I finally got sleepy by that time. So I put the fire out. I used water because I didn't want to have no forest fire. So I got the fire out real good, and I got into my little bed of leaves there, and finally went to sleep. Well, during the night, it seemed like I could see some light just coming up under the eyelids, a little bit of light shining in. So I opened them up a little bit, and you'll never guess what I saw, but that moon had come out. Oh, it was a little crescent moon. Pretty little crescent moon, like a smile turned on its side. And that crescent moon, though, was getting closer and closer. Oh my gosh, it was getting right behind that tree. And the tip of that crescent of the moon, it went right under the straps of my powder horn in my pouch, and it lifted them off of that limb, and it took them on up to the sky. And I reached up to grab it. It was too late. It was gone. It went way up into the night sky. And I said, I must be dreaming. I'm dreaming. I went back to sleep thinking, tomorrow morning, everything would be just the way it was supposed to be. So I got up the next morning, and I looked at my powder horn and my pouch. They was both gone. And they hadn't fallen down on the ground either. And I was thinking, what? Did I really have a dream? Was I dreaming all that time that happened? I can't quite believe that. I don't understand. But there I was that day. I was sort of stuck. I didn't have no ammunition, so I couldn't do any hunting. So I just decided to explore a little bit and look around and gather a few more things. And toward evening, it just seemed like the day passed just like that. And pretty soon, having a campfire and put it out good and went to bed again and was sleeping. Because I thought I will have to lay over a second night, whether it was a dream or it wasn't a dream. Because maybe that crescent moon would do a kindness to me and would leave my powder horn and my pouch back on the limb that night. So I went to sleep with that thought in my mind. Woke up the next morning, opened up my eyes, and the powder horn and the pouch was right on that limb, right where I left them. I knowed I was dreaming. I knew I had been dreaming all that time. I was so happy. So I got my powder horn and my pouch down, and I loaded up my rifle once again. And I said, well, I'll just get a little bit of something to eat before I go back to see Rebecca. So I went out and looking around, and towards that stream, I saw that same doe, that deer over there. I said, oh, yes. So I got a good bead on that animal, and kapow! Oh my gosh! The gun barrel exploded, burst in 2 pieces. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, maybe that wasn't a dream after all. Maybe it was a dream. I don't understand. Maybe the moon took that thing up into the sky, and some electricity electrified that gunpowder or something, because something was wrong. Only thing I know is that one half of that barrel went way over yonder and killed a bobcat. And the other half of that barrel went way over yonder and killed 5 partridges in a pear tree. Well, I looked back to the stream, hoping the deer would still be there, but that doe, that deer, that female deer had disappeared. It was gone. Well, so there I was, in the woods, my rifle, all that messed up, but over by the stream I did see something else. Little otter popped his head out the water there. Oh yes, it did. It popped his head up and it looked around to see what was going on, and then it saw me and it fell back down. And you know what? It was so fast that I barely had time to give a snapshot. So we made the program. How about that? And that's a story about laying out of the night. Well, I should yo. Here we go. Ali, oh lady, yeah, lady, oh lady.